Buyers are refusing to pay for overpriced trucks in 2025, and dealers are starting to feel the pain. Prices are finally starting to reflect that pain that they're feeling. This Ram truck right here is almost $85,000, and it's one of the reasons that sales of new pickup trucks have slowed to a crawl in the fourth quarter of 2025. And because sales have been slowing down, truck prices are actually starting to hit rock bottom. I've seen prices down as much as $20,000 off of a new truck right now. And in today's video, I want to see which brand has the absolute cheapest truck that you can buy as we're in the fourth quarter of 2025. Because some of these discounts they're offering are actually pretty insane, and I never thought they would get this low. With the holidays coming up in November, December, manufacturers want to close the year with good sales. And in order to get this inventory off the lot, they have to dramatically reduce their prices. And we all know trucks have some of the highest prices of any vehicles that you can buy right now. So in this video, I want to check out all the dealerships that have new trucks for sale, what discounts they're offering, who has the cheapest truck you can buy right now, and I'll also tell you which one I think is worth buying. I'm going to start this video right here at Ram because at the beginning of this year, they had some of the slowest sales numbers out of any of the big automotive manufacturers that sold pickup trucks. And that has slowly changed over the course of the year. Sales has picked up, and whenever I used to go to dealer lots like this Ram dealership here that I was at, it was probably a few months ago, maybe in the middle of summer, they had so many trucks here at this Ram dealership that all of these under the canopy was just full from this side all the way down that row. And then as you went to like this side a few months ago, like they had an entire row of trucks right here in this space that you see is empty all the way to that Grand Cherokee over there. This was completely full of Ram trucks. But the situation has gotten better for Ram, and they're not overloaded with inventory like they were just a few months ago. Sales picked up over the summer, and they got rid of a lot of old trucks. Some of these Ram dealerships were sitting here with 2023 still on the lot around summer of 2025, and right now as I walk around here, I don't see any more 2023 models or 2024 models actually. And I think those sales numbers have picked up because of the discounts that they have, and they have some pretty crazy discounts right now going into the holidays. And as you can see here, they've got some of these trucks parked sideways because they don't have as many that used to fill this section. So I want to look at what the MSRP of some of these trucks are, and then look at their website for the discounts, because some dealers will show discounts in like the front window. They'll put like a hang tag or something on the mirror. But as you can see, this dealership doesn't advertise the discounts on the trucks, but it's pretty easy to check the website. And thank God for like these stock numbers, because that makes it a lot easier on me. All I got to do is put a stock number in, and then we can see what the discount is at. The first Ram truck I want to take a look at is kind of a mid to higher trim level of the Ram, and that's the Rebel, because I've said it in my other videos that the Ram Rebel is one of my favorite trim levels of Ram truck. And unfortunately, a year ago, they took the V8 out of the Rebel and put that twin turbo inline 6-cylinder in there, but now the V8s are coming back. And so I want to also see if the V8 is back in the Rebel, because they are back in like a lower trim level of the trucks as well. So we got the Rebel here, and these are 4-wheel drive. Is it a V8? This one is not a V8, still the inline Hurricane twin turbo engine, unfortunately, and it's $75,000. Now I want to check and see if they do have a discount on this real quick. All right, here's that black Ram Rebel right here, and they do have some pretty insane discounts on this truck. You've got $7,539 with a national 10% below MSRP, a $2,000 overage select inventory bonus cash, and that means they have way more than they need in inventory. And there's also a $6,000 dealer discount, bringing it from $75,390 all the way down to $59,820. That's over $15,000 off for this new Ram Rebel, which I think is awesome. These truck prices have gotten way too high, and dropping the price by $15,000 is really good for buyers right now. And honestly, that's a bigger discount than I thought it would be. My cousin bought a used Ram Rebel a few years ago, and it was a V8, and I think he got it for around the mid to high 40s. And for a new one now, it's only about $10,000 or $15,000 more for a new one with that $15,000 discount, which I think is pretty cool. We're finally getting these prices back to same levels where the average consumer can go buy a truck again, and even a higher trim level truck. Now the V8 is a lot nicer, so hopefully they'll have Rebels with the V8 soon. But anyways, that's more of a higher trim level truck. Let's go see what the cheapest one we can find is right now. Okay, right here is the cheapest 1500 series truck that I could find on the lot right now. And it is a Ram 1500 Tradesman with the e-torque. And I'm gonna take a guess that this is not a V8. I'm guessing Hurricane 6-cylinder. Oh, I'm actually surprised. This is the 3.6 liter V6 engine with the e-torque, which is probably the least powerful motor that Ram offers in their truck right now. But as you can see, it is two-wheel drive, and the MSRP is $47,950. But like the other truck, it does have some discounts. These discounts are lower, but pretty close. Obviously, it's not going to be as high of a discount on a cheaper truck. You've got that national 10% below MSRP of $4,795 and a dealer discount of $3,836. And there is no like overstock discount on here, but that does bring the price down to $39,319, a discount of over $8,000 on this truck. So it does look like you can get a new truck for under $40,000. It just may not be the one you want, but it's probably the one you can afford. So we found one with a $15,000 discount with the Hurricane engine, and then we found one with a discount that had the 6-cylinder non-turbo engine, the V6. But what about a V8? If you want the V8 Hemi back in your Ram, how much is that going to cost you now, and what's the discount? This is my dog Emma, and she's a part of the family. She's also 13. That's why I decided to give today's sponsor, the Farmer's Dog, a try and see how Emma likes it. The Farmer's Dog offers gently cooked, human-grade pet food that's delivered straight to your front door. So this is actually my first box from Farmer's Dog, and in here I got Emma's turkey recipe, and I also got chicken and grain. And the Farmer's Dog actually has quite a good variety of different recipes that you can choose from and find what your dogs like best. But my first box also came with a couple extra things. I got this handy starter kit right here. Then I also got this really neat tote bag, and then this is also pretty cool as well. It comes with this storage container. I put the bag with a little bit of leftovers from her food in it, so it keeps it nice and fresh while you're using it over the next day or two. They also sent me a package of these snap stick treats, and you can snap off a little piece, and Emma absolutely loves them. I highly recommend you give Farmer's Dog a try. Get 50% off your first box of freshly made healthy dog food by using my link. Plus you get free shipping and 24/7 customer support. Just click the link in the description or scan the QR code. Thanks to Farmer's Dog for sponsoring this video. Let's get back to it. Well, I just found a new 2026 model Ram. It's the Lone Star Edition, and it's a 4x4. It's actually in this really pretty blue color that I like with black wheels. And I think, in my opinion, that's a good combo. Some people don't like black wheels on certain colors. I like black wheels, but just a matter of taste, I guess. But as you can see here, the trucks that now have the Hemi V8, they put this really cool Hemi badge on there with like these pipes coming out of the side of the engine where the manifold would be. And so that's an indicator. If you see these on the lot with this Hemi logo right here with the Ram, that's going to have the Hemi V8 engine in it. So how much is it and what's the discount? So this is a 1500 Lone Star Crew Cab 4x4, again with the Hemi V8, and it does have e-torque. And it is like a mid to low trim level of the V8 because it does have cloth seats and not leather. The MSRP of this is going to be $62,545. But like I said, every truck here at Ram has a pretty significant discount right now. And on this Hemi V8, what is that going to be? You've got a $3,500 discount in national retail consumer cash and a $3,753 discount in just the dealer discount. That brings it down to $55,292 for one of these Ram Lone Star trucks with the Hemi V8 engine. Now that's a discount of over $7,000. And so do you think a new 2026 Ram truck with the Hemi V8 is worth $55,292? Or do you think that's still overpriced for a new truck here in 2025? And again, that's a 2026 model. Now let's go to our next brand on this list and see what dealership discounts they have. So my next stop is right here at what's typically considered a luxury brand in the automotive world, and especially when it comes to like trucks and SUVs. They have some pretty high prices most of the time, and obviously that's going to be at GMC. This is the luxury arm of, Chevy basically, and the GM brand overall. This is like GM Buick screams luxury. With that typically comes luxury prices, but I actually had something that surprised me here at the GMC dealership, and it might be maybe the cheapest new truck that I found today. We're only at our second stop, but what I'm going to show you might surprise you. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So obviously we have this entire row of really nice GMC trucks, including some of the Denali versions that are pretty expensive. As an example, this Denali here, MSRP is $86,770. It will check for discounts on these type of trucks here in a second, but let me show you what I think might be the cheapest truck I've found so far today. Possibly, we got a couple more stops. That is this work truck spec GMC Sierra with their newer TurboMax engine. And as you can see right here, it's actually really nice for like a work truck spec. You do have the basic steel wheels and some pretty cheap tires, but they'll do the job. Now, unlike a Chevy version of the work truck, this does have chrome as a little bit of an accent, but things like this are still plastic. So with chrome, you can have a classy work truck. But as you look around here, because it is a work truck spec, you do get things like steps, and there's already a spray and bed liner in it, so you don't have to worry about scratching it up when you're doing the job. And of course, this step here comes in pretty handy. It makes it really easy to get up and grab things from the back. But what is the MSRP? How much is the discount, and how cheap does it get? Well, looking at the window sticker here, if you go right here, it is $47,425. It's a 2026 model, and they do have discounts on pretty much every truck here. So let's pull up the discount on this truck and see what it is. So as you can see, here's that truck right here. And if I scroll down a little bit right here, you've got a dealer discount of $8,000, bringing that down to $39,421. However, the discount continues after that. You got a $1,750 purchase allowance, $1,750 bonus cash, bringing that to $35,925 for a full-size GMC pickup truck. And I don't think I've seen a full-size truck around $35,000 at all this year. So if you want a full-size truck and you don't want to spend a ridiculous amount of money, that one right there is $35,000. Thought that's pretty cool. Thought that was pretty cheap for a full-size truck. Now, whether the turbo 4-cylinder is good in a full-size truck, that could be debated in the comments until we all pass out. But what about this $86,000 GMC Denali right here? What's the discount on a really, really expensive $85,000 truck? So there is a pretty big discount on this one, and it's not as much as a Ram, but it's still pretty good. So for this Denali Ultimate, which is at $86,000 MSRP, they've got a dealership discount of $8,000, and then a purchase allowance and bonus cash of $1,750 and $500, bringing it down to $76,035. So around $10,000 off on one of the highest trim level GMC trucks that you can get. So $76,000, pretty expensive, but it's a GMC. And most people who buy a GMC pretty much have a lot of money, and they're willing to shell out for the most part for one of these expensive trucks. And $10,000 off MSRP is probably going to convince that buyer that it's actually worth it. Now, they do have a truck here with even bigger discounts, but you're stepping up into like an HD model truck. So I just found a full-size GMC truck with probably the biggest discount out of like the normal trucks or heavy-duty trucks that I've seen so far. And it's this GMC HD with the 6.6 liter Duramax engine. And these trucks are massive trucks. Obviously, it's an HD version, and it's meant to get a lot of work done. But what is the MSRP and how much is the discount? Let me show you. This is also kind of a unicorn as we're walking around here. It's right next to this truck that I saw. But I have never seen a Sierra HD single cab dually on any lot in the last 3 years that I've ever been on. So I just thought showing you this real quick while I'm walking around this would be quite interesting, because tell me why, like, you would need just a two-door. Is it just because you're actually pulling trailers around a farm and you don't need to bring the whole crew with you? That kind of makes sense. Definitely a work truck among work trucks, and it's $66,000. But here we are. Let's check the MSRP and what the discount is. It's pretty dark. Hopefully you can see it, but it's $89,430 for this truck. And the discount is pretty significant. It's still not as much as Ram. Ram so far, still the king of discounts. So as you can see right here, this is the truck on their website, and it looks like there's $12,000 worth of discounts, and they're split between a couple of things over here: the dealer discount, a purchase allowance, and bonus cash. That brings this truck right here to $77,430. Now, is that a good price for an HD truck? Would you buy it? Tell me in the comments. But moving along, there's one more truck that I want to talk about while we're here at GMC, and then we'll move on to the next one. And this truck's been a bit controversial in the GMC lineup because they're not really selling that well, and a lot of YouTubers are pretty much complaining about it. And if you bought one of these new, I'm sorry, you probably lost about 50% of your value the moment you drove this truck off the lot. And that is this GMC Sierra EV. This definitely looks like a lower spec of it because you can tell the smaller wheels usually mean lower spec. And they've got a white one over there as well. But I want to see if they're trying to get rid of this truck and how big the discount is. We all know the Hummer EV that's right next to it is expensive. We don't need to go into all that right now. But this one's $101,000. That's all I'll say about it. But back to this EV truck, you're looking at $81,155 for an extended range. So is there a discount? So I find this quite interesting on this black one here because it is a 2026 model. You can see here that you only get $3,500 off of it. However, they do have an older one, like it's still new, but it looks like the ones that's been sitting here for a little bit longer do have a discount. So we got this white one here, and it's a new 2026 model. And you can see the photo here, it's the same with the red tow hooks. You can actually get $9,000 off of that white one back here. I don't know what the difference is between 2026 models. That gives one $3,000 and one $9,000, but whatever. $9,000 off on their EV truck. If you want to buy one, find used because you're going to lose 50% of its value the moment you drop it off the lot. But let's move on from GMC to something else. Now, obviously, we can't talk about GMC and then not go to good old Chevrolet here. And as you can see, this lot's pretty full of trucks. They got some Tahoes and Suburbans right here, but it's a smaller dealership. They do have some trucks way, way, way back over there. I don't know if you could see that, but I think there's a mix of new and used ones back there. These are a lot of new ones that just came in. Some of them actually have tags on them, which I find interesting. Those are usually tags reserved for being in service, maybe because they're doing like a inspection since they just got here. But I want to look at something and see what the discounts are at Chevy compared to GMC and like what the prices are. Obviously, Chevy should be cheaper. Okay, I finally found all of the new Chevy trucks, and they're in this huge row right here, and I got a few over here as well, which is pretty nice. Now, there's quite a bit to look at through here. As you can see, this row goes all the way down to the right. There's a few on the left there, and then we got a little bit of a row right here around these little trees. But I went ahead to save us all a bit of time, and I did find the cheapest one that they have here. As far as Chevy trucks go, one of the cheapest trim levels that you're gonna get and price-wise is gonna be like an LT or a custom, or even something like this RST right here. These are gonna be the lowest trim levels that you can find at a Chevy dealership. And as far as the one with the lowest price, let me show you which one that is. That's going to be this red custom right here. And red is a crazy color. It does not come with any kind of bed liner. You're going to have to pay for that yourself, either after you buy it at the dealer or something aftermarket. These are the wheels that you get. It's actually quite a large wheel and tire size for a lower trim level truck. But with a lot of these new GM vehicles, the cheap model is going to have a Turbo Max 4-cylinder engine. No V8 for you. But overall, not a bad looking full-size truck. Let's see how much this thing is. It's probably one of the cheapest Chevy vehicles that you can buy right now as far as trucks. This is a 2026 model. It is 2-wheel drive, unfortunately, and the price is $44,700 on the MSRP. Now, I did look on my handy dandy phone here because none of these dealers in Texas put discounts in the window. Kind of annoying, but whatever. So as you can see here, we got the red truck next to the red truck. See, we got the red truck here, and it looks like there's $500, $600, $70, $750 worth of discounts from the dealer, customer cash, and bonus cash. It's a little small here, but the price is all the way down to $38,195 for a brand new 2026 1500 Chevy truck. Now, that actually brings it in line to the same price as that work spec truck. So if you're looking at a GMC work spec truck versus like one of these Chevys here, this is a little bit nicer and you get a nicer wheel as well. But they both have that turbo mix engine. If you wanted to step up to like a 4-wheel drive custom Silverado, just show you that for comparison, MSRP is $49,000. So to get 4-wheel drive, you're gonna spend about $5,000 more going from 2-wheel drive to 4-wheel drive. If you don't need it, you don't need it, but 4-wheel drive does come in handy when you have a truck. But what about a trim level like this High Country? A lot of times the more expensive trucks will tend to have a higher discount off of MSRP, because right now at $7,000 off, they're not very competitive with Ram when you can get $15,000 off of a Ram truck or like a Jeep Gladiator. Now, I just ran into something that I didn't expect. I really thought, excuse me while I squeeze through all these trucks here, I really thought I would see a bigger discount on this, but you actually get a better discount on the cheaper truck. So the MSRP of this right here, the High Country, is $82,000, which I think is pretty insane. And the discount is only $5,500 off of that MSRP, dropping the price of this to around $76,000. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't think that's a big enough discount to entice people to buy one of these higher trim level trucks. They need to be more in line with what they have at other dealerships. Like even GMC had bigger discounts off their trucks. They had like $12,000 off one of those HD trucks. So you would think Chevy would be trying to push bigger discounts. You know, you gotta be competitive right now to really offload your inventory. And these trucks need to be around $8,000 to $12,000 off to be able to compete with brands like Ram. Now I'm really thinking right now that Ram might be the best bang for your buck as far as buying a new truck right now, which I think is pretty crazy. I would have never imagined that at all. So Chevy, do better with your discounts. We need larger discounts here. But now it's time to go to the big fish. Let's run over to Ford real quick and see what the #1 selling pickup truck has as far as discounts. So I finally made it to Ford, and most of the time Ford has the most inventory out of like any of the truck brands, you know, before Ram and Chevy and GMC and even Toyota. Ford always has the most truck inventory. And this dealership here in Rockwall, Texas is no different. They have a lot of truck inventory. You can see we've got an entire row of brand new trucks here. This is mixed between like F-150s that have some modifications on them to dualies and King Ranches and Super Duties as well. And then that Super Duty wraps around all the way here. We got this gigantic beast right here as well. And the pickup truck craziness at Ford doesn't just stop right here. Ford is pretty much at this point overflowing with F-150 pickup trucks. We've got a row as far as the eye can see down here, an entire row on the side here. And even as I walk through going down this way through this little corridor, these trucks are practically bumper to bumper, 2 rows deep all the way as far as the eye can see, all the way down in that direction. And look, this has been here so long that all these dead leaves are just in the back hanging out. So you would think Ford, with an overflowing inventory, would have the biggest discounts, and apparently that's not the case. Let's take a look at one of these more entry level. This is an STX F-150 in white, and it's just above like an XL or XLT package. And this is the truck that Ford sells pretty much the most of in these STX trim levels. As far as the F-150 goes, it's kind of a best bang for your buck all around pickup truck. It's not the nicest one you can get, but it's what most people can afford as far as new trucks. And the MSRP is $48,000. So what's the discount like on a $48,000 more entry-level F-150? It's honestly way less than what I thought it would be. You only get a dealer discount of $2,843, retail bonus cash of $500, and then on select models it's $1,250, bringing the sale price to $43,487. So a discount of around, let's say, $4,000 to $4,500 for this STX F-150. That is around the same discount as Chevy. That's less than the discount on some of those GMCs, and that's definitely way less than discounts on the Ram pickup trucks that we saw. But what if we look at a higher trim level? Is the discount going to be higher on that? Here's an F-150 in the ever popular trimmer package. The MSRP is $67,510. And this one's actually pretty cool because it does have the 5-liter V8 engine. 5-liter V8 can never go wrong. It's going to be a lot easier to maintain down the road if anything breaks. The 5-liter Coyote is like a super easy engine to work on, much easier for the DIY garage mechanic than working on that twin turbo 6-cylinder. And without turbos, there's less stuff that goes wrong in these V8s. But what about a discount? But unfortunately, as you can see here, there is absolutely no discount on this F-150 trimmer, which honestly, Ford do better. I think this kind of sucks to not have any discounts on this truck, especially since it's the end of the year and 2026 models are right around the corner. Because as you can see here, there's an F-150 Lariat that looks like they have a flash sale, but as you can see, they do have a Lariat trim package with a $6,500 discount. So as I walk around this Ford lot, I did find a F-150 with a bigger discount. And funny enough, it's not going to be any of these F-150s that you would think that are normal. It would be the F-150 Lightning. This has the biggest discount out of any of these Ford trucks that I have seen on this lot. Lightning, not as popular, not selling as fast as it used to be when they first came out, so they're incentivized to give bigger discounts. So what does the discount look like on these trucks? So this white one right here is an MSRP of $71,545. You get a dealer discount of $5,709, retail bonus cash of $1,000, and an EV public charging credit of $2,000. So that brings the price of this F-150 Lightning down to $62,830 something. So that's probably as cheap as a F-150 Lightning that you're going to find here, and around $8,000 is the biggest discount that I found at Ford so far. And I'd like to apologize in advance for any Ford F-150 Raptor fans. There's no way you're getting a discount on one of these. That's going to wrap it up for today's video. If you made it all the way here to the end, I'd like to thank you for watching this far. Hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed already. Hit that like button so more people get this information. Share this with friends, show them the discounts, whatever. But again, thank you, and I'll see you in the next video.